Cass, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good, good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you doing?
Very well. How's your puppy?
Good. He's right here sitting next to me, chewing on a little bone. I thought I could bribe him to be good today.
Yeah. So what happened? Is he not is sick or what's going on?
Oh, he just needs the rest of his vaccines. He's
Oh,
like a baby. He's like 4 months old. So,
very good. So I am a cat guy, so
oh
yeah.
no. No, I'm just kidding.
You have
No, I'm
sympathy for
also a
me.
cat guy. I'm also a cat guy. That's why this is so hard.
Uh-huh. I mean, I the only time I can recall I cried was, when I gave her away because of some allergy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
So
sorry.
yeah. Thank you. Big ass man crying, huh? So
Love
tell
it.
me. Yeah, I performed for your show, for your mic on Nomadic Post, yeah?
Yes, you did. That's right.
Yeah, and I was mesmerized, and I wanted to hear. I mean, some people wanted to hear your poetry. Some people wanted to, like me, wanted to hear your music. But you remain enigma, and so unleash the story now. Tell me what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Unleash the story now. Oh, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
From the beginning?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay. Well, I am Cassandra or
Yeah,
Cass. I go by Cass,
yeah.
Cassandra de Freitas.
Mhm.
So I went to school for acting. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting,
Ah,
and then found myself in the middle of this Austin open mic scene.
mhm,
And I had been going to the open mics for a while, for a couple years, and then started my own. I started a record label with some other women, non-binary people, and it was really cool. That was Warren Records. And then from there, broke off and started this production company that we're a part of now, which is Scene Productions.
mhm.
And it's really overwhelming to
Yeah,
see
I saw
the
your
way that it
open
has
mic schedule
gone. It has just,
yesterday. Yeah.
say again.
I said your overwhelming mic schedules and shows and events.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We do the open mic weekly, and then the productions are kind of quarterly. But then it's kind of a ripple effect, right? Because I found that that's the entire point. And I think it's been 4 years now in total, maybe 5 years of being just within the open mic scene, but 2 years of my open mic weekly. And what I've learned is that it's kind of a ripple effect, right? So you create this like space for people to feel comfortable to start making their own events over here and doing things over here and then making money as artists. And that's kind of the whole thing. So it became very overwhelming and busy because I want to go to everyone's things. And there's just so many people doing so many cool stuff in our community. So very lucky
Yeah.
to be so overwhelmed. So yeah, that's the whole thing. So I guess I've always been singing. I
Okay.
think I sang before I could talk, and then I've been writing for a long time, but the skills that I've actually like worked on are performance based when it comes to like spoken word.
Yes, yes.
And I find that hosting is a really practical application of that acting degree. So it's kind of carried me to where I am. I don't get shaken very often. I don't get embarrassed on
Mhm,
stage,
mhm.
which is something I think a lot of people cannot say.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you own the stage. I've been all over the world and I've seen shows from LA to Tokyo, but I've never seen the enthusiasm, the energy that you remit, so to say,
Thank you.
crowd and to the fellow artists, the confidence you give and the way you cheer up. Because now, especially in context of stand-up comedy, I believe
Mm,
that hosting is an art form in its own. MCing is an art form in its own because the other day, although I've been hosting podcasts and documentaries for long, long time. So the other day they said, the host is not here. Would you like to do it? I said, okay, yeah, fine. I did, and I just screwed it because I didn't know, what's on deck. And of course, when I'm performing, I knew it, but it has there's a method to its madness. So,
Hmm.
so the way you handled it, and the way you own it is supreme, is like you said, because of your acting probably prowess.
Thank you.
Tell me about poetry, because I have also written many songs, but published a poetry book as well, which I'm going to share you later with you. It's called
Oh, I can't wait. Oh
Not.
my gosh.
Yeah, it's available on
Um,
Amazon, Knots and Bonds. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
that's amazing. Yeah, poetry, I feel like, is the basis of songwriting, really. So, and kind of writing of all kinds. I just think it's like I think people get hung up on poetry sometimes, and I know a lot of writers that don't like to be called poets. And I understand where they're coming from because I think that there's this idea that to to be a poet, you have to follow the rules of this game, and there's structure and there's all of this. But I think that real poetry and real poets, they just speak honestly and truthfully. Um, and so before I even started songwriting, I would write poetry. That's like how I would just I would have so much like pent up emotion. And then the only way that I could get it out was to just write it down and like literally get it out of me. And so it started with a poem, and then I would bring in a guitar or a piano. I was trained on the piano, and my parents were like, we will buy you a guitar once you master the piano,
Cool.
which I didn't ever master, but I did get good enough that they bought me a guitar.
Mhm.
Played piano from the time I was like 7 until like sophomore year of high school or something.
Mhm.
So got the basics down, and then taking that poetry and putting it to music like changed the entire game for me. So I loosely consider myself a musician. I know too many people out here that are actively trying to make that their livelihood, and that's not what I would say I'm doing.
Okay. I mean,
But yeah.
that was the natural transition for me as well. For me, my inspiration was Sting. The way,
Oh,
yeah, the way he rhymes and balances his tempo. And
yeah.
because I was a musician before, but I was always a writer. I've been a copywriter for like many, many years.
Wow.
Poetry was always fascinating. And like you said, it's so cathartic, because I used to feel light when I used to put it down, because poetry is like a game, it's like a puzzle. It's a secret geometry, of words and how you balance.
Mm-hmm.
And when you encapsulate your emotion in those two lines, that's what is therapy for me.
Yeah.
And you literally used to feel like, I mean, I practice a lot of art forms and sports as well, so there are lots of modes of expression. But until I found comedy, poetry was the only way for me to feel light and relaxed, because
Mm-hmm.
to actually mean that whatever you were thinking meant something, and was something real when you put it on paper. And so I totally agree with you in that context. And then of course it came it handy in songwriting as well.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, the structure, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, then bridge, and then solo. And now we don't find solo in the songs, but yeah, I'm from the days of guitar solo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's an important part.
Yes, I mean it was an art form in its own. I mean,
It was. You would get you would get to show off the instrumentalists and everything. I think it's an important part of the entire thing.
exactly, and I would say the artistic aspect of it, because we used to wait for the solos of Slash and blah blah blah
Mm-hmm.
guitars, and there was this instrumental guitar genre in its own, like Joe Satriani and Steve Vai and Eric Johnson from Austin. So that was a natural transition. So tell me about your. I read that there's a dance troupe as well that you manage, or
Yes.
tell me.
Yeah. I am. I'm in a dance troupe called Los de Allá, which means the ones over there, basically. And it's a troupe full of women of color, mostly Latin heritage. And the stories that we're telling are kind of our own personal stories, our own journeys when it comes to like the matters of immigration and kind of what Latinas go through over here in the United States.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, we just had our first season show, and it was really cool and really successful and really powerful because I feel like there's a lot of, I think with the way that Austin has been changing, sometimes there's not a space for people to be able to tell these types of stories. I mean, some of the things we were talking about, we had um, like just facts about immigration and what that actually like legally looks like and stuff. We just had stuff like that in the show at one point or another.
Mhm.
And just to know that people just don't even know what this process looks like what it really it takes to live the American dream or be an American citizen. So it was a really cool thing to take part of. And I am not a dancer by any means. My my father was a choreographer and a Latin
Oh,
and is an
wow.
incredible Latin dancer, but I am not at all.
Okay.
So I don't do any of the dancing, but I do the poetry and I'll help with the English translations too. So we'll do kind of like an English, Spanish, Spanglish
Mhm.
mixture so that it can be accessible for everyone who's coming to attend.
So,
But it was cool to be like in a space where the minority of people were speaking English. So my part was like to just speak to like the English speakers in the way that I feel like Spanish speakers get treated most often. So that was really cool.
right.
That was nice.
For once, the majority became minority.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It was really cool for 3 nights.
I mean, I love dance, especially for because of the fact that I'm a musician, and number two, I'm a fitness
Mm.
freak as well. I've written a book on fitness as well. So, but
Oh,
for me, I have great admiration for salsa, and especially I'm a Zumba
mhm.
practitioner.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, I used to work out outside the in LA Fitness. There is a area where they do the Zumba. I used to work out, outside. I used to say, "What the hell are they doing? Why is it's so easy?" So one day I said, I should just try it. And I thought, it's tougher than it's tougher than high intensity or interval
oh
training,
yeah.
or resistance training and swimming or whatever, even if you minus the violent part, even tougher than kickboxing. And
Oh,
because
you heard it here first, everybody.
I mean, because you see, I used to wonder, why girls used to like guys who were good on dance floor, and
Mhm.
I used to wonder why women like to dance hours and hours, and they don't get tired. And then I realized, this is the reason. Because I was always into music and making people dance, and sometimes
Yeah.
DJing as well. But then I realized, and again, Zumba has become a huge industry worldwide and a phenomenon.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there's studios everywhere in New York and LA, wherever you go, Europe. It has become kind of representative of our generation, I think.
Yeah, which is very cool. Yeah. I think it's really important to preserve these things within our culture too, because that's just like such a huge part of Latin culture is dance. And I feel like when things are going hard or when we're going through a lot and all of those pent up emotions, right, that feel so cathartic to write down, sometimes feel so good to just to push out in like a movement kind of way. And I think that is what I'm learning from these dancers. Is the way that they emote is just fully in their bodies. So cool. So cool.
That's right. That's right. It's like like I said, it's fun and workout, uh,
Mhm.
and it's like comedy in the sense that if you're dancing right, it's fun for you. If you're not dancing,
Yeah.
it's fun for everybody else.
Yeah. I didn't realize that you were in the comedy scene.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
fun.
yeah. So because if you're bombing, then people are laughing at you, and
Yeah.
on your
How
jokes.
terrifying.
Yeah. Well, you have to put yourself on the line for that, and that's the kind of that's why
Yes.
people consider it to be, really scary, especially actors and especially no, even improv artists, sometimes they are
Oh
like,
my gosh. Yeah.
they say that,
No, I had to kind of learn improv. I mean, it's a part of acting and you just kind of have to suck it up and do it. And I was good at it, I guess, but I hated it. I was like, absolutely not. I don't want to do this. No, I can't stand this.
right.
I could never stand up comedians. I have a huge place in my heart for stand up comedians,
I
but
mean, I
it's
want
mostly out of admiration that I just couldn't
I mean,
do
I
that.
so want to learn improv now because I want to improve my crowd work,
Mhm.
and also, that is, that fraction of a time where you have to decide as a writer what you have to say, to create a comedic effect.
Yes.
It's a huge challenge,
Yes.
in terms of developing your muscle memory and facing the crowd. But so tell me about your acting endeavors.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I got my college degree in acting, Bachelor of Fine Arts,
Mm.
and also got a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. So like I act from the inside out. Um,
That's true.
then I got an agent here in Austin after I graduated. And fell in love with the acting scene here actually. And at the time when I first moved here, the scene wasn't that big. Like it was a fairly small community, and I think it's growing a lot now. Like there's a huge like film industry here, and commercials is where I originally started, but I detest commercials. Not that I mean, no, I don't like them. I like the art of acting and of
Mm.
storytelling and stuff, and I have so much respect for commercial
Right.
stuff. I do. I don't like it myself to do.
Like,
So I've kind of made that my goal, and I'm at the point now where I work on projects that I'm very, because of how limited time I have with everything else that I have going on. I feel like my acting has kind of taken, which is something I'm working on, but my acting has kind of taken a second, like backseat sort of to the rest of this, the music and the event planning and the hosting and stuff. But I try to only work on projects that I think say something
mhm.
and projects that are like impactful to me. I think when it comes to characters that draw me in, it's like a character that can teach me more about what it means to be a human,
Okay.
and a character that teaches me more about the human condition
Mm.
and how can I explore my own humanity through this character in corners of myself that I haven't even looked into yet.
Mhm.
And so if there's a character like that that's presented to me, I will audition.
Okay.
Um, Other than that, to the dismay of a lot of friends of mine, I don't really audition that often, just because I wouldn't have the time to keep it if I was selected to work on things.
Mm. I mean,
Um,
so when you mentioned commercials, you mean the ads, advertising, or did you mean the commercial sign?
I mean, like ads, like advertising.
What, but why?
Yeah,
You're
that's
very
what I
good.
did a lot when I first got here. That's kind of, you pay your dues
Right.
and you go to the cattle call auditions and you go to the extra castings and you
Mm.
bring your wardrobe and you
Right.
do the whole thing. And I have so much respect for the industry. I do so
Right.
much. I learned so much about it. I learned so much about myself. Um, but as far as like that, I don't know that that's everybody's thing, you know?
Mhm. But because you are very photogenic, why don't you? And you won't be camera shy as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I am that harrowed, annoying artist, I think, that's like, no, but I want my work to say something. I want it to be hard to talk about and whatever. I don't know, hard to work on and something where it's like sometimes commercials just like you sitting there like at a restaurant. But
Right.
I did a commercial shoot once where I was literally just like, yeah, genuinely sitting at a restaurant and people were in there
Just
taking
look
photos.
pretty.
And I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
a whole day of myself just sitting there.
But
But I
that's
met some cool people, so not all for last, but
mm. Yeah, behind the scene is always boring and tedious and tiring task, whether it is animations, whether it is production, the pre-production work, or behind the scene is always boring. The
Mhm.
whole day you have to, you how long can you look pretty,
That's
uh,
right.
you have to wear that look on your face for retakes. So yeah, it does. Yeah.
For 14 hours,
Yes.
you know. But I think what I love and what I found that I loved was when it comes to film specifically is like guerrilla independent films.
Oh
Like where
wow.
you genuinely just like go out, you have a tiny crew, you're just out there doing the thing. I've done in grocery stores and done short films just kind of all over. And I love that. I find that to be very exciting and very fun and fulfilling.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
So
as well as like on the like theatrical side, I like
Mhm.
experimental theater, things that kind of push the bounds a bit,
Right.
and expose a lot of vulnerability and personal vulnerability.
Mhm.
That stuff is what I like. I probably consider myself a performance artist at this point
Mhm.
with
So
what I do most often.
have you tried at Broadway in New York?
No, this is my puppy. No, I haven't.
Okay.
I have not tried. I when I was in college, we had a showcase over there, and I think at the time I was afraid that the pace of it was too quick for me. I kind of like to savor things a little bit, which is why Texas was a really easy choice. You know, everybody around here is too hot to be moving so quick.
Yes.
Um, but I think now I might feel differently. I think now New York might be more my speed.
Okay.
So who knows?
Oh, no, yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna what I'm gonna do is I'm also a film grad from New York Film Academy in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
And what I'm working. Do you know Anna Christina? She's an NYU.
Yes, I just watched your podcast with her.
Oh, yeah, 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 that's right. So I was. She's a great writer, and she adapts screenplays for stage as well. And I
Mm.
wrote a premise called About Time. And since you mentioned about humanity of the characters and vulnerability, so it's about a 1900s. I'm gonna pitch an idea to you right now.
I
Uh,
love.
yeah.
Okay,
So
fantastic.
it's a neuroscientist from 1900s, and due to some marital infidelity, she tries an experiment to reverse age. And during that experiment, it goes wrong. There is an accident, and she fast forwards in her age.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
so since you mentioned guerrilla filmmaking as well,
Yeah.
and then there is a whole setup in which she ends up in 2000s, 2000, late 2000s. And then yeah, so
Very cool. That's so cool.
yeah, so maybe we can work together, me, you, Anna, and I
Absolutely. Send
have
me the sides.
yeah. So I have some production equipment as well, gorilla, so to say.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it.
So if you are interested, let me know, and then we can make it happen. Because the thing is that the industry of filmmaking has totally revitalized because of video on demand. So
Mm-hmm.
formulas are gone. The budgets are only for Disney's and Marvels and DC's.
Yep.
So we need to come up with stories which are prevailing, which are relevant, and which are really connected to today, as well as psychologically, like you mentioned. It thrives on the humanity of the characters,
That's
and
right.
of course the psychological desires are the same, irrespective of what century we are in. So
Definitely. Oh
yeah,
my gosh, definitely.
yeah, so that transition, that time travel, and it's called About Time.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
so
think that's a fantastic idea. What a good pitch.
yeah, yes. So I thought, I should avail this podcast as an opportunity to pitch you, since you mentioned, because I knew you had something to you. It was very enigmatic, and because you said, oh, okay, what do you want to hear from me? What do you want me to do? So, it was really thrilling that, you are so confident of, you were asking the crowd, what do you want
Yeah.
them want you to do? So it was exciting. And I thought you will be same firecracker that you are in the shows, but you are very subtle now. So I don't know whether.
No, everybody says that. No, for real. People say that all the time. Friends, boyfriends, everyone. It's like, no, I am. That the persona of my hosting is a very true version of me. It's just a more
Okay.
like exaggerated, like on version of me. I think part of we were talking about the art of hosting. I think part of that is keeping everybody engaged, keeping everybody excited and being able to control the energy in the room
Right.
takes a lot of energy yourself.
Mm.
And I know that you know this, realize that with this podcast. I'm sure it's the same kind of situation.
What's your zodiac
Um,
sign?
Aries.
Aries. Okay. Okay. Now I understand. The greatest actor of all
What's
time.
yours?
Mine is Sagittarian. But
Oh, fun. Okay,
yeah,
cool. Love
yeah.
a Sagittarius. My mom's a Sagittarius.
Okay. So
Love that.
the greatest actors of all time, all my favorites like Marlon Brando, like Russell Crowe, like Christopher Walken. Even Jack Nicholson is also borderline Aries. So they love to perform, and they I mean Marlon Brando is like a complete encyclopedia of acting. So I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah. And also again, free from the ties of time, timeless.
absolutely. Their art is timeless. I completely agree.
So when should we start shooting? You tell me.
I like it. You get right to it. Yeah, you
I
send
pitched
me the
the,
script. You
I
send me
pitched the,
this.
I pitched the idea and you wowed it, and then it's now in your hands. It's your baby now to project it through your acting to tell the story to the next level, because I have not told you the entire story yet, because the climb
Yeah.
and because not I don't want to give it away on the podcast, but the best part is about to come.
I think this is so cool, actually. Like, this is an inside look of what it is to actually like pitch a show to somebody and to like, I don't feel like everybody gets to see this interaction. Like, I feel
Yeah.
very lucky that I get to have these conversations about these cool projects and truly like, Anna was saying it in her podcast, like how acting is not really something you can do alone.
Yes.
Like the
It's a
art of
collaborative art.
creating a
Yeah. Yeah.
film or
Yeah.
creating any of that, you have to have a team of people. And so those conversations, I love that we're kind of opening a window into
That's right.
this because this is how those conversations go. It starts with, here's this idea. What do you think about that? Can we get passionate about that? And then the entire creative process when it comes to making a film from this moment, from this conversation until we're sitting watching it on a big screen
Yes.
is the keeping the enthusiasm,
Right.
keeping the passion, keeping
That's
the story at the forefront and keeping it all like
right.
alive like that. So I think that's really cool
That's
that we're
and
letting your listeners in to
yeah.
what this looks like.
Right, because you see the indie cinema is that's the most beautiful aspect of art house movies and independent cinema is that
Mm,
now we have the time. I was speaking to Jeb Happy the other day, and I said,
okay.
everybody can complain about we don't have this, we don't have that. Even Tarantino is crying now that the movies budgets and studios are not there, but now it's up to the creative guys to spin it around and see come up with stories that are prevailing and that are connected with our times, and that can create an impact in VOD format. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
absolutely.
the accident that happens while she's doing that experiment, and then by mistake she finds out that that as she has suddenly stopped aging as well, and then how by a stroke of luck she reverses. Again, I don't want to give away everything, but what I'm trying to say is that it can be perfect, because after I did my graduation, I tried to make a horror flick and a movie, and then because of 2020, the pandemic,
Oh yeah.
yeah, And but at the same time, then I made a documentary which went very well, which is available on Tubi and Amazon and everywhere. So
Awesome.
when I was speaking to Anna, after I spoke to her, then I thought, because she's also great at grant writing and getting funding for the movies and projects. So I thought, uh,
That's important.
yes,
That is
yeah.
important.
So, but irrespective of that, it's I mean, artists are the creative vehicles. If they are convinced to tell a story in its way, and then the psychological warfare, about
Ugh,
there,
yeah.
because there is a way to adapt every screenplay to theater as well. That's an art and a science, and I think a technique in its own. So
Hmm.
yeah, so we will talk about it later on, and explore this
Yeah.
possibility of either doing it in New York or Austin, or we'll figure it out, because it can easily become a production nightmare and logistical nightmare. But as long as we are connected to it and focused on it.
As long as we have the passion for it, we can do it.
Yes, yes,
I
passion.
will say, I think that that is something that I'm good at.
Yeah,
That was something that I just like realized like a lot of projects will die.
yeah,
They because this like the process of producing, I don't know that everybody knows that, but producing a film can take years. I
yeah,
mean, it can from like the first time you have this idea until you're finished with it, it could be years and years and years of time.
right.
And the mental warfare that you're talking about is can be brutal. Like the battleground and the battlefield in that
That's right.
artistic process can be crazy, especially when you have a big cast
Yeah.
too, people
Yeah.
that are all feeling that way. So,
I mean, I always used to, people used to, again, I told Jeb Happy as well that you see, movies are not made up with budgets. No, movies are made with the director's vision and the
mhm.
passion. If he has this desire, to tell the story, then everything falls in place. Because otherwise, you can give a million reasons. Because, like you mentioned, it's a collaborative art, and there are so many moving parts that you can blame anything on the failure of a movie, but only if the director's passion is aligned, things can. I'm going to send you the trailer of the movie that I'm talking about, that I was planning to produce.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please. Yes, please.
I'll give you, because I was just.
Also, please send me your poetry.
Yeah, I will send you the okay, I'm going to send you the PDF. Yeah, I will.
Thank you. That is truly like my, I love seeing people's art. I think that's what has kept me where I'm at when it comes to being, doing this for 2 years, doing this open mic, weekly open mic is it comes from my like love of the Austin
Hmm.
art
Yeah,
scene
yeah,
and my love of the people that are here making this up and the hungry
right.
musicians that are out here trying to do their thing and
Yeah,
all of the different
yeah.
production companies and stuff that are I love them all. I love it all.
And
And I'm proud
especially
to be a part of it actually.
yeah, especially poetry is considered a dying art form, but at the same time,
Mm.
when I mean, I quote myself that the way, if I read somebody's poetry, it feels like I'm not alone. This
Yes,
this trauma is
yes,
out there.
absolutely.
Yeah, and somebody is there to is grappling with words, and battling with emotions to put them in words to make a sense out of it.
Hmm. There's a friend of mine wrote a song, and he was talking about that if he's up there and he's saying something that hurts so much to say, then it must have been worth saying.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I like he said that, and it was just like, yeah, that's totally it. Like if you're up there and you're shaking,
Yeah.
and it's hard to come out choking out of you,
That's
then it's worth saying. Somebody else feels that way, and now they get to feel less alone in that.
that's right.
Beautiful.
That's right. Yeah. I was watching Prince's like live performance yesterday, and then I recalled, he started singing "Nothing Compares to You," and then I recalled Sinead O'Connor, and how she took his song and made it her own, and he was really angry of how she took it to a different level, and she started crying during the video as well. So
Mhm.
it's amazing that an art form can be adapted by any soul and can take a new meaning altogether.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. People do that with my songs right now, and it is the most head trippy,
Mhm.
beautiful thing because the artists that surround me are really quite, I mean, prolific. You've had some of them on your podcast. They're
Mhm.
incredible, timeless
Yep. Yep.
people. And they will take what was to me just like not a very precious thing. I'm not very precious about my music. It's just, it's more like, yeah, this is a story that I just wanted to tell. And so then they'll take that and they'll turn it into something so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's just like I get completely just like stumped at it and looking at this thing that I wrote that I thought only meant this
Yes.
means so much more. Is
Yes.
actually so much deeper and stronger and fuller than I could have ever even imagined because it wasn't coming through my lens like that. So I think it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference between prose and poetry because a poetry with the packaging of rhyme,
Mm-hmm.
it can take multiple meanings, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
most beautiful aspect of it.
Yeah,
It takes,
beautiful.
metaphorically, it goes into whatever emotion you are relating it with.
Yeah, exactly. And that looks so different through other people's lenses. And when you have like incredible thinkers and creators and artists like that, you know, who knows what you can
Right.
find.
Because you can interpret it in their own way, whatever
Yeah,
circumstances.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
So
very
I
cool.
don't find your music link, no Spotify or Apple Music link in here.
I do have Spotify actually.
Okay.
I have a couple songs out on Spotify. I have a lot sitting on my computer that I haven't had the courage to release because I am not a career musician. I don't understand why. This is an argument I have all the time with my friends. They're like, release music. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I don't need to do that. That is for you guys to do. But so more should be coming soon.
Yeah.
But then Warren Records, which was the record label that we started, has a few albums, and I'm on both of them.
Okay, that's great. So,
Yeah.
because I was trying to find in your link tree, I couldn't find the Spotify link.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't put it in my
The
link
open mic,
tree.
so we should have. It should be.
I have a pretty private music account that I
Okay.
put everything to that not very many I don't really post about and not a whole lot of people are following it.
Right.
But if you ask for the Spotify, I will send it to you.
And same is about, your show reel should be there as well
Yeah,
as an actress.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
right.
Because you are, promoting everybody else except for yourself.
Yeah. I know. But I'm good at promoting everybody else.
Yeah.
I haven't quite figured out how
Yeah,
to promote
because you
myself like
are
that.
so enthused, and I see all the open mics that you are hosting. But I said, I remember, and they should be linked to your poetry as well. Another thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. All right, you're so right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, that you are cheerleading, but you are not cheerleading yourself.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think I needed to hear that. I feel like that is feedback that I get from time to time.
So we got like 1.5 minute. Would you like to wrap up? Tell me your plans, apart from, of course, about time.
Yeah. Well, honestly, so no. My plans from here are to just continue to make safe creative spaces.
Mhm.
Continuing to host. I'm gonna do some hosting with Austin Music Love, which I'm really excited about. Just furthering my love of this community and like diving into it even further. And I am considering getting my master's degree, going back and getting my master's in fine arts. And so we'll see where that goes if that decides to go anywhere. I think I need to get out and start auditioning again.
Yeah.
I'm ready to I'm ready to get back into my own art a little bit more, which I am excited about, but also nervous.
But About Time doesn't need your auditioning. It's your project, and just produce it.
Well, perfect. And so then I'm also going to be producing.
No, no, we'll all produce. Don't worry. We are going to, for once, we are going to promote you.
Oh, perfect. Look at that.
All right. So very nice
Yeah, I
talking to
just
you. And
you
I'll
too.
I'll wait for your Spotify. You wait for my poetry link, and we'll then take it from there. So very nice having you.
Excellent.